Hey, you're listening to Wrestling Roundup, FreeFM 89.0, Grady Hooker. We'll jump straight into this day in history for the 6th of December. Back in 1971, WWF had a Madison Square Garden show. Pedro Morales defended his championship against Freddie Blassie. In 1998, WWF had a pay-per-view, Capital Carnage. The main event, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Mankind, Kane and The Undertaker all fought in a fatal four-way, with Stone Cold coming out on top. The Monday Night Wars raged on in 1999. Nitro had 12 matches, the main event of which falls into a brawl with the Outsiders, Jeff Jarrett, Bret Hart, Sid, Goldberg, Rowdy Roddy Piper, the Green Bay Packers, everybody was in it. And over on Raw, the Rock and Sock Connection took on Al Snow and Chris Jericho, but the New Age Outlaws quickly attacked to cause a DQ finish. 2004, we had WWE Raw. Trish and Lita main evented for the WWF Women's Championship. Lita managed to capture the title with a moonsault. In 2010, there was another Raw. This time, the Nexus defeated Cena, and he was fired, but Barrett gets turned on by his stable and forced to rehire Cena. Just last year, 2012, TNA Impact, the main event was a six-man tag match. James Storm, AJ Styles, and Jeff Hardy took on Chris Daniels, Kaz, and Bobby Roode. But at the end of the match, the Aces and Eights attacked the good guys who just won the match. So we'll jump into the classic entrance theme of the week. It's Buff Bagwell. Hey, you're back with the Wrestling Roundup, FreeFM 89.0, Grady Hooker. Just before I get Josh on, I got to promote this FreeFM giveaway here. FreeFM has an amazing prize to give away to one lucky listener for Christmas. It's stuff full of goodies to help make your Christmas extra special, courtesy of our friends at Fairfield Rotary, the proud new sponsors of our Fairfield Community Links show. It's easy to be in to win. All you got to do is email us at win@freefm.org.nz or call the station during office hours on 834-2170, 834-2170. Okay, so live all the way from America, we got Josh.
Yo!
We'll jump into Raw. It actually opened up with a in memory of Maurice Mad Dog Vachon graphic.
Yeah, he passed away last week, just before the Survivor Series pay-per-view.
He was quite a legend of his time, wasn't he?
Yeah. Although most people, after 1987, when he was forced to retire due to an accident that amputated his leg, which nobody knew about, most people knew him for his appearance in 1995 when Diesel ripped his leg off and used it as a weapon.
Okay. The actual show started up with Randy Orton and the Authority, leading to this horrible, horrible match.
Well, I can't say that there's not much more that they could have, overall better match that they could have booked. I'm like you. I'm not really that interested in a title unification match. Though it is interesting that they never actually use that phrase.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they just said that it was for both titles, and then in a couple of interviews he said he only wants there to be one champion.
But they never actually say unified or undisputed or anything along those lines, which can lead you to maybe there's going to be some shady dealings and possibly a title switch or somebody randomly comes in and steals one of the championships and leaves with it.
Yeah, I'm hoping they swerve, because if they just go down and one person gets both of them, I'd like a switch, I'd like a double retain, a random, any swerve whatsoever that leads to still being two champions.
Yeah, we gotta see what's happened, 'cause the main event will suffer if we have one champion.
Yeah.
I'm a big boy. I can take care of myself. Wah.
Yeah, it was, Orton definitely played up pretty well. Okay, well, the first matchup, The Shield took on the Rhodes Brothers and Rey Mysterio.
This furthers the ball rolling behind Roman Reigns.
I'm pretty sure he did like 2 or 3 more spears.
Yeah, he speared Goldust and Rey Mysterio again. But he got stopped by Cody Rhodes, who eventually got rolled up by Dean Ambrose.
Okay, well, the next segment is the best segment of the night, the Miz TV segment.
Actually, I enjoyed the segment.
Finally, a Miz TV Josh liked.
I enjoyed the comedy with Titus O'Neil coming out as the fake Michael Strahan. And then the real Michael Strahan comes out, and then they have the whole hip toss stuff. Which I was cracking up laughing when he actually hip tossed Miz.
Yeah.
But the best line was Michael Strahan's botch of a double team tag team main event.
No, it's a whole new type of match, man.
Yeah, I kept expecting to announce 4 teams when he said double team. I'm like, whoa. But but you could tell he's not used to being in front of a WWE crowd because he's a guest host.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll segue into a tag team match. The former Heyman guys who, for some reason, are still working together, taking on Big E Langston and Mark Henry.
Yeah. I don't know. This is probably where they need to be right now, is in a tag team in the lower mid-card area. Maybe you could add them to it, to the tag team championship match if they're going to do like a 4-way.
Yeah.
Just to have an extra heel team in it.
Fair enough. Mark Henry and Big E definitely work together well.
Yes. I said at the first moment I ever laid eyes on Big E in NXT. Big E is a young Mark Henry.
Just a lot shorter.
Yeah. And if he has the type of career Mark Henry has had, that's a win for Big E.
What, sexual chocolate?
Let's leave that part of the career out.
Okay.
But
okay.
I mean, like the longevity, because Mark Henry is the longest full-time wrestler in WWE as far as when he was signed and all that.
Yeah.
Appeared on WWE and all that. He goes back to 1993.
It's a long time ago.
Yeah. The only person that's been in the company longer, it works 1 day a year.
Yeah. Okay. See, last show I was begging for another Survivor Series match. I did not mean a rematch of the Divas one.
This one was better. I enjoyed it much more than the one on Survivor Series.
But it's still subpar.
I didn't think it was subpar.
Okay. Differing opinions.
Yeah, I thought it was an average elimination match, but I thought that it was much better than the one the previous night.
At least they didn't forget that Nikki was a survivor this time.
Yeah, this time you had 3 survivors.
It's definitely seeing the end of the real Divas.
Yeah, we're definitely heading towards a Total Diva versus AJ for the Divas Championship.
Yep. The next match, Damien Sandow took on Dolph Ziggler. The WWE app poll said that it's going to be a Hamptons hardcore match.
And JBL was absolutely just ballistic on the match type the entire time.
What's
There's
hardcore?
nothing hardcore in Hamptons.
Yeah. I think I think I read that Ziggler got in a little bit of trouble for wearing a Zack Ryder shirt.
Yeah. Apparently he thought the vote was going to go for a Strong Island street fight.
It was pretty close.
But the Hamptons hardcore match won because it was a hardcore match.
Yeah.
But yeah, he did get in trouble. Some people backstage actually said it sounds more like he's actually put all his sleeping bags and stuff in the instead of just moving into the doghouse, he's just having his mail delivered there.
Okay. Sandow actually picked up the win off Ziggler, leaving it 1-1 in the feud.
Yep. Not sure where they're going with this.
Probably a
but
third.
the matches have been entertaining.
Okay. Up next, we get one of the wackiest promos of the night.
Yes, Santino with Michael Strahan, and then the Rowan, and then the mask, and then Santino says to bake a turkey with the mask on it for over 5 hours at 450 degrees, take the turkey out and throw it away because it's going to be burnt to a crisp, and then nibble on the mask.
Yeah.
It was funny.
Up next, we had a interview with Punk and Bryan, and it was pretty much yes or no questions the whole way through.
Yes, until the last question.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was a good interview.
Are we seeing interviews happen in the ring now a lot more often, I've noticed?
You know, especially since Renee has come up to the main roster.
Yeah.
Although that doesn't not necessarily a bad thing, because Renee's nice to look at, and she can do her job well.
Okay. Well, this interview led straight into a 2-on-3 handicap match where Punk and Bryan took on the Wyatt family.
Yes, the handicap match was good. Of course, you expected that. For what I have expected from the Wyatts, I have been really impressed by Eric Rowan.
Yeah.
Whether it be at Survivor Series or it be on Raw last week, he's been impressing me with his work with Punk and Bryan.
Okay. Well, they actually kidnapped Bryan and kind of walked off without him.
Yeah, apparently they left him in the middle of an abandoned parking lot.
It's a little weird. And
Yeah.
Punk got sideswiped by the Shield.
Yeah, apparently this is where they're forking off in different directions, Punk and Bryan.
Yeah.
Apparently Punk is going to be dealing with the Shield, and Bryan is going to be dealing with the Wyatts.
Okay. Well, up next we got another Survivor Series rematch. The Miz took on Kofi Kingston.
Yeah, and this further confuses us as to what the heck is going on with these two.
Yeah. I've given up.
Yeah, I'm hoping against hope that they do the unexpected thing and make Kofi the villain out of this.
Well, I kind of have to, because Miz has a Christmas movie coming out.
It came out on Tuesday of last week.
Oh, there you go.
So if they want to make Miz the villain, they can now.
True. Up next, Mick Foley had his WWE Shop promo, and so did Dude Love, and so did Mankind.
Yeah, that was a really, really good one. Foley being able to be the different personalities while he was doing it was just absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
I was hoping that I'd be able to go see his comedy show here when it was coming here, but I'm not going to be able to.
Damn. Okay, well, we'll jump into the current entrance theme of the week, David Otunga. And you're back, Wrestling Roundup, FreeFM 89.0, Grady, Hooker, and Josh. We'll jump into Raw where we left off. Xavier Woods sort of steals Brodus Clay's entrance theme to take on Heath Slater.
Yeah, this is interesting. By the way, Xavier Woods looked better with the Funkadactyls than Brodus Clay ever did.
Yeah, I think over on SmackDown, Brodus Clay is pretty mad at Xavier for what he did.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but it seems to be leaning towards Brodus Clay tapping into the monster within.
Back when he was Alberto Del Rio's bodyguard.
Yeah. But the match was alright between Xavier Woods and Heath Slater. And I do enjoy the finishing maneuver combination that Woods uses at the end of the match.
Okay. Well, the main event, Randy Orton and Alberto Del Rio took on John Cena and The Big Show.
They furthered the concussion storyline during this match.
Definitely. I'm pretty sure Show had medics attending him.
Yeah, they stopped the match at one point. Show got back up and somehow managed to get Cena back in the match, and then proceeds to roll out and lays in the floor for the rest of the night.
Yeah. At the end of the show, though, quite interestingly, Randy Orton was holding up both titles above John Cena.
Yeah, as a prelude to what we may see at TLC.
Okay. Jumping to SmackDown, there's a Thanksgiving party going on, and Titus takes on Khali in a food eating contest.
There's no way this can go wrong, right? This is bad.
Well, we can talk about it all now. Titus ends up winning, but he wins a one-on-one match with Antonio Cesaro.
There's definitely nothing can go wrong with that.
And he gets the Cesaro swing, and then we get a pretty funny after-match segment where Titus pukes in JBL's hat.
Yeah.
And on Zeb.
And then puts the puke on Michael Cole.
Yeah. That, you could see that wasn't going to go well.
Yeah.
The opening match back at the start of the show, Mark Henry took on Curtis Axel.
And Mark Henry made short work of the former Intercontinental Champion. And then furthered the chemistry between Mark Henry and Big E.
Yeah.
I think where we're going is probably a WrestleMania match between Mark Henry and Big E for the Intercontinental Championship.
Possibly. They're definitely going...
At least that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, they're going to collide at some point. It's just when.
Yep, just a matter of when.
The Plymouth Rockers took on Los Matadores and El Torito.
Yeah. This is getting sad at this point.
Come on, you're the one who said you liked this weird stuff that they were doing.
I was liking it only if it was going to benefit 3MB.
Okay.
And there's also the fact that they're still facing the Los Matadores.
True. And Los Matadores won. Well, El Torito helped them quite a bit.
Of course.
The next match, Tons of Funk took on Truth and Xavier.
Yeah, I was kind of shocked that Xavier Woods lost his first match about 3 matches into his career.
Yeah, he took a pretty huge splash from Brodus Clay.
Yeah, very few get up from that.
They'll be scraping him up for days off that mat.
But yeah, they continued the teasing that Brodus Clay is like...
Yeah. We get a quick CM Punk interview, and he's not entirely sure why the Shield attack him, but he thinks it's the authorities' fault.
Yes, and we're going to have to see where this goes, because this is obviously probably got something for Triple H and CM Punk.
Yeah. Up next, the WWE Tag Team Championships are on the line. The Rhodes Brothers took on the Shield.
Yes, and it was a good tag team match until Ambrose causes the disqualification.
And then
then Vicky comes out and goes, "We need to have a 6-man tag team match, player."
And then the Wyatts caused the DQ finish on that one.
And then we need a 12-man tag team match, player.
Yeah. There's a lot of people in that ring.
Yeah. And the good guys win.
At this point, the good guys is the Rhodes Brothers, CM Punk, the Usos, and Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, Daniel Bryan has not been seen all episode long.
I don't think he hasn't been seen all week long. I don't think he was on Raw either.
He hasn't been seen since he got kidnapped.
Yeah. So, what I sort of skipped over, the Total Divas also had a WWE Shop promo. Not as good as Mix?
Not as good as Mix. Not as good as William Regal's either.
Okay. And talking about the Total Divas, on Raw, they also got Michael Strahan to sign their footballs.
Yeah, that was really just to further the crowd disliking behind Eva Marie.
I think they're starting to force Total Divas down the viewer's throat a little bit at this point.
Starting to?
Okay, maybe they've been doing it for a couple of weeks, months. But it's getting progressively worse and worse.
Yeah, they really started it when it was Bryan versus Cena.
Yeah. Maybe we should put a goat mask on Eva Marie and cook her in the oven for 5 hours at 480 degrees. But either way, what's the next pay-per-view coming up? TLC, and it's in 2 weeks, is it?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. They haven't done much build-up in terms of matches yet.
No, but I think they'll start getting the ball rolling on Raw next week.
Hopefully. I think the TLC match for both titles is going to headline no matter what else is around it. That's fairly obvious. Some form of Bryan and Wyatt's and some form of Punk Shield.
Let's just hope it's not both a handicap match.
That would get a little bit boring having two of the same match, because Punk and Bryan are pretty similar wrestlers, and the Shield and the Wyatts are pretty similar trios. So, we last week predicted a fatal four-way tag team match. The tag team division seems to be pretty ripe with people, even if we're eliminating Shield and Wyatt. We still got guys like the Rhodes Brothers, Usos, Ryback and Axel, the Real Americans, and I'm sort of not counting Tons of Funk because of where Clay's headed, but we've also got Truth and Xavier, so we could see some form of massive humanity over the tag team championships.
Yeah, that is possible. We'll have to see where they go.
Okay, well, it's been great talking to you.
And great being on.
So in birthdays this week, Dynamite Kid, former WWF wrestler, turns 55. The Extreme Luchador Super Crazy turns 40. Current TNA knockout Brooke Teschmacher turns 29. The Funkadactyl Naomi turns 26. And Captain Charisma Christian turns 40. In a New Zealand recap, I promised you the SCW Slam City 4 results. I got them here with me today now. We got Kaori Warrior defeated Michael Winner to be defeated by Crash. Taylor Adams defeated Osiris via disqualification. Scarlett retained her KPW Women's Championship against Piotr. Dreamcatcher Phil Woodgate took on Johnny Idol and they fought to a no contest, leading to an 8-man mixed gender tag team match where Johnny Idol, Kaori Warrior, Scarlett and Taylor Adams managed to defeat Dreamcatcher, Crash, Osiris and Piotr. And in the main event, the SCW Championship, Rough Guts, Roddy Gunn and Sammy V fought to a draw. Just past weekend, NZWPW bringing the house down. They had the Hitoya Cup quarterfinals. Dreamcatcher Phil Woodgate took on and defeated That Young Warrior Paul Sayers. Taylor Adams defeated Mr. Silver. Skull Kid defeated Chad Howard. And Mikey defeated Hayden Thiel. In some singles action, Jade Priest defeated El Horsio. And Misty defeated Cheetah. The NZWPW Championship was on the line. Ben Munner managed to retain his title against Cade Morgan. And in the main event, the Nobodies managed to defeat the tag team of De Hoya and Johnny Idol. Coming up, IPW Nightmare Before Xmas this Saturday, Linfield Rec Centre, get on down. IPW New Zealand Heavyweight Championship match. Fans bring the weapons, bring whatever you want. Vinny Dunn defends his title against Travis Banks. The Agents of Change are also defending their IPW Tag Team Championships against TNT. And some matches just added. James Shaw will be taking on Armageddon Cup champion Kurt Chaos. And the tag team of Joel Clementson and Pirate Burns will be taking on the team of Liger and the debuting Hush. So it's good, going to be a good show. That's it for this week. Wrestling Roundup, FreeFM 89.0. Visit our Facebook page, facebook.com/Wrestling Roundup Radio, or our Twitter page, twitter.com/Wrestling R Radio. And I'll see you next week.